Warriors, I hope you all had a wonderful Thanksgiving. And here we are, the kickoff to the holiday season, straight through to the new year. I am going to remain very positive and share stories of enlightenment with you and stories of good things that are happening, because there's so much discourse and so much anger and so much negativity that we need to stay away from that. But you know that, Warriors. Today was Radio Day on WVOX, Lynn's Warriors, and I had a fantastic guest, Becca Stevens. I urge all of you, follow my Twitter or Facebook, certainly the website, lynswarriors.org. I will have that interview up tomorrow morning. And she wrote a fantastic book called Practically Divine. Now, let me tell you a little bit about Becca Stevens. Becca formed, she's the founder and president of one of my favorite organizations. And that organization is called Thistle Farms, Thistle. The reason I am so passionate and crazy for Thistle Farms is because they get the work done. They take care of women who have been sex trafficked, domestic violence victims, drug addiction. It's a 2-year program, full services, medical, psychological, educational, everything you can imagine. And that's what's needed for people. Not just I found a bed for somebody and then you think you helped them. It's a full-on program. And that's a dream of the Warriors down the road, thinking towards building more, I want to say, homes. I was saying safe houses, but this is more of a community safe environment. Safe houses are definitely needed in safe spaces. We'll get to that in a moment. But Thistle, Thistle, thistlefarms.org, they get the work done. And Becca started this about 25 years ago. And their hashtag is Love Heals. And, you know, when you think about it, that's true. Despite everything going on all around us, it's always going to be something else. It's always going to be a situation. But you know what? As Becca pointed out today, and we all know, we're going to get through it. We have to get through it. But I was so excited. You know, Becca's been on every major platform, and she is a White House champion of change. She has been, you name it, she's been on, which is excellent, because there's not a lot of media coverage with human trafficking, sexual exploitation, this type of work that we all do. And Becca wrote a fantastic book, and I urge all of you, I bought it for all my friends, women I know. I want them to read it. I'm going to hold it up. Let's see. Practically Divine, Becca Stevens. Now, forget my little Post-it notes. I'm the kind of reader, when I see something I like and want to go back to, or an important anything, I'll put a Post-it note. So you can see I ended up, as I told Becca today, I had Post-it notes all over the book. It's an easy read, but a heartfelt read. She is what we call, well, let me tell you in her own words, because there's so much to Becca Stevens. So I told you she's the president and founder of Thistle Farms. And she's a justice entrepreneur, I like that, survivor of childhood sexual abuse, a priest, and a tireless advocate for women in her hometown of Nashville, Tennessee, and also around the globe. And she believes that she was born at the crossroads where crafts and justice meet to heal the world. Now think about this. She pointed out, Becca, today, you know, we always had sewing circles, or she goes into different countries. She started here in Nashville, her hometown. She goes across the globe now. They do weaving and baskets and brings community together. And what do I always preach at the Warriors? Community. We have to become warriors in our own homes and communities. And you know what, Warriors? I don't have to tell you, look what's been going on in the last, what do we have? We're into our 5th year of all kinds of everything. Be a warrior in your own home and community. I urge all of you, go on Thistle Farms, Thistle, farms.org. Order the book. It'll make you smile. You know what? I don't really talk. I read a lot of books. I don't really plug them like I'm doing this book, but you know what? I don't know, maybe it's my age now. It's the work I'm doing. It really made me think about a few things and go, oh, nothing's so bad that we can't take a step back, take a breath. And I know maybe you think it sounds corny, or you know what though? It's inspiring. Becca's inspiring. Look at what this woman has done and the women she has helped. And, you know, she talks about creativity sparks revolution. So be a warrior, and we all need to spark revolution. Of course, the book, if you go on the website, available, thistlefarms.org, but also Amazon and Barnes and Noble, the usual suspects, as I say. But you know what? Just, you know, she weaves her mom through this. And I told her today, I think at some point we all become our mothers, whether we realize it or not. I'm finding myself saying things that I never thought would come out of my mouth, or I'll think, oh, that sounds like my mother, or, oh, mom used to say that. And she pointed out sort of the same thing, but her dad died when she was 5. He was killed by a drunk driver in a car accident, and her mom had 5 young children to raise. And she took everybody down to Nashville from upstate New York and started surviving, working very hard. You can imagine 5 young children. And it's very inspirational, and there's lighthearted moments. I don't want you to think it's not a self-help book. It's just a read. It's an easy read. It's the kind of thing, you know, maybe you bring on the beach, or you sit on your back porch, you sit in your apartment, and you take an hour here and there, and you just forget about everything else and get a little inspiration. So everybody, Practically Divine, Becca Stevens, we still have time. I don't know when you're watching this, but today is December 1st. Can you believe it's even December? And you can order it in time for the holidays. It's also, I had an early morning meeting across town today, and that I passed Rockefeller Center, which I always do. And tonight's the big Christmas tree lighting. So there was a lot of energy and that hustle and bustle in the air. And you know what? It feels good, warriors. Well, it feels good. We have to focus on that. And I'm so happy that last year we had these painted hula hoop circles all around the tree in Rockefeller Center on the pavement, the streets surrounding it, because you can't really get near the tree. It's in the middle of Rockefeller Center, but you can surround it on the side streets. And you would have to be ushered down these little narrow, the gates up, and stand in your hula hoop, no more than 4 people, because of social distancing. I don't want to bring up bad memories, everybody. And then you'd have to stand there. And if you put your foot out, they had like security people yelling at you, put your foot back in. I get it. But this year we don't have to worry about that. Isn't that great? And we can all go watch the tree. I know it's on television tonight. Lights, lights, lights. Festival of Lights, and happy Hanukkah also to all of our warrior friends out there celebrating Hanukkah. There's a lot going on. We have to focus on all of that. So the other thing, I would be remiss if I did not address the very high profile trial going on right now of one Ghislaine Maxwell, accomplice, right hand to the, I was going to say late, all right, I'll just say Jeffrey Epstein. Now, this is a 6-week trial. These are federal charges. She's being accused of sex trafficking of a minor, sex trafficking enticement, conspiracy, and the Mann Act, MANN. You might want to look that up. Very old. Don't quote me on this. I think it was written in 1903, somewhere around there, transporting somebody over a state line. And but interestingly enough, when it was written for girls and women. There's no mention of boys or men in the Mann Act. I think it's time for a little updating since we know boys and men also get sex trafficked. And I have to double check myself on this, but I think those are the charges on the federal level, the only things they could apply to her. But, and I've been working and out all day, so I don't really know what occurred online. I don't know what occurred in the mainstream media. And it's not that I so much care, but I need to keep an eye on everything. I need to have the knowledge. I need to see what's going on, what people are reporting, not reporting, so I can formulate my own ideas. My ideas are usually not what anybody else is ever thinking. I'm kind of proud of that, frankly. I had for a fleeting moment, I was thinking, I do have a press pass. And I was thinking, you know, I could really, maybe I should go sit in the back of the trial for a day or two. It's a 6-week trial. And we're in week 1. I might do it along the way. For now, I'm not doing it because my time is better spent. And here's what I thought. I thought my time, I thought to myself, it'll be a media mayhem. I know this already, anything surrounding Epstein, Maxwell. I'm sure it's going to be crowded. You do have to line up to get into the courts, even with a press pass. There's only so many seats. I bet you people will get there the night before. It's dark and it's cold. Not that I'm using that as an excuse, but I'm saying it's dark and cold. And sure enough, I saw the first day of the trial on Monday that they did indeed line up in the middle of the night and waited in the dark and the cold. And I thought to myself, I'm not doing that because I'll tell you why. My energies and work is much more important to focus on actually what I do to help victims and survivors of human trafficking than standing so I can see Ghislaine Maxwell and whatever. My time is better spent. That's the bottom line. But you know, I wish we forget in all of this. And again, they could be talking about it, but there are certain stations I don't watch. I read tremendous amounts online, all different sites. Again, I haven't seen anything today, but I wish the media focus, the media craziness could be on the victims, could be on the survivors of not only Epstein Maxwell, of course, it's in the news happening right now, but constantly of all victims and survivors, and not just, you know, ones of celebrities or the Epsteins or the Maxwells, because you know what? Warriors, are a lot of Epstein Maxwells out there, a lot of them. You'll never hear about them. So many predators. And I've approached, I constantly still approach. It was one of the reasons I'm doing the Warriors, is to bring education and knowledge to the community. And the media does not want to focus. I continually go to them. Missing children, we could focus on missing people, human trafficking, more digital safety. The Warriors is working on mandatory, and again, state by state, district by district, K through 12, mandatory human trafficking education in our schools. If we have sex slip of the tongue, sex education, and all these other critical race theories, and who knows what's going on in these schools anymore, we sure could use, I'm not even gonna say that, we need mandatory. Again, most of this is all happening with the kids, the teens, online, and everybody's online these days. So we, you know, I want the media focus. I have a lot coming up in January. January is Human Trafficking Awareness Month. So I'm pushing hard on that one to do various events I'm booking now. I have a couple booked, my warrior workshops. I should say our warrior workshops, because I just want to give you the information. I want to give you the knowledge. I want to give you the tools, because my dream is I give it to you, you give it to somebody else, keep passing it along, community. Again, I'm not out to end human trafficking, stop human trafficking, because you know what, I can't. Because we know, you know, it's the biggest moneymaker, that you always follow the money. Too many people complicit. But what I can do, and I don't consider that negative, Yes, indeed, it's horrible. But I consider engaging, educating, empowering, intervening, disrupting the cycles of all of this abuse and holding those responsible who cause harm. You know, then we'll make a dent. Then we'll know what's really going on. We'll have a communication with the kids. The kids will know this is wrong. We'll make change. But I can't do it alone. I need all of you. I'm working on a very grassroots level. People don't work the way I work. I'll just leave it at that. We must. You eat, you brush your teeth, you sleep, you work, you go to school. You must know about human trafficking, and you must know about sexual exploitation. Because so much, come on, warriors, you see things, I see things are popping up on Instagram, or people very sexual, very inappropriate. So, you know, the young kids and teens, first of all, I guess anybody about 30 and under has just grown up in the bubble of the internet. But they're thinking all these things are normal. And then the adults are thinking this is normal because there's such habituation to all of this sexualization of kids. That's what we want to disrupt. But it brings me to another point that, all right, let me just be honest here. I spent a good part of Monday with the NYPD working on our collaboration of a warrior program that'll be best practices for medical, law, legal. We need the police. Police in New York and police around the country, their hands are tied, especially here in New York. When you have no bail reform, this bail reform, whatever's going on with this bail, look, nobody's being held accountable. It's very easy to understand. If you're not held accountable, people do what they want. No rules. They know they're not getting arrested. If they do get picked up, they're, for instance, what happened to this ACLU? I mean, I know it's been devolving a bit over the last decade, but these people have become evil. These people are just, I'll leave it at that. Do some research. But as far as here in New York, I can only speak to where I live. Well, I could speak about a lot of places, but I'll speak about what I know here in New York. You know, our wonderful NYPD. Of course, not enough manpower, not enough resources. Hands are being tied. You can't do this, you can't do that. Everybody's a racist. Therefore, and no bail. So people are running amok in the streets. How sad is this? How sad is this? And I don't want to, all these things, oh, New York's on the comeback. New York Broadway is up 32%. Wednesday, matinee day today. And I know a lot about the theater and the nuts and bolts of the theater and how it all works behind the scenes. When I'm walking back through Times Square at 12:30 on a Wednesday, when shows start at 2 p.m., and all the pizza places and all the Starbucks and Dunkin' Donuts and the little restaurants all around Broadway, 7th, 8th Avenue, very few people in them pre-theater. Don't tell me that Broadway's on the comeback trail, or it's here, or it's, because it's not. And this is the crush holidays. And we have a mayor who just opened up 2 sites where you can legally go and inject yourself, I guess, with heroin or something. Remember, I have been busy, warriors, focusing on the need of survivors and doing a lot of things. I haven't been focused on DeLauzio, our mayor, as I call him here in New York, who'll be gone in about a month. And remains to be seen with our new mayor, Eric Adams. But you know what? Anything's better than Delausio. I'm still waiting for the monies his wife took in for a mental health program. 85 million, somewhere unaccounted for. They don't have the paperwork. They said they'll get around to it. It's been going on for a couple of years now. All of the monies were supposed to go to mental health awareness training. No, I think it's $1 billion. I think I'm telling you the whole wrong thing, Warriors. I apologize. It's been a long couple of days with all of the Warrior work. No excuse, but that's just the way it goes. And it was for mental health and programs and trainings and education, and it's gone. The programs never happened. The bottom line is the people aren't getting anything. So the Warriors, we focus on directly providing as much as we can. Yesterday was something called Giving Tuesday, and I want to thank all of you who participated, who sent me money, who sent me goods, things I put out there that are needed. Giving Tuesday is always the Tuesday after Thanksgiving, and it's a global movement to raise awareness for nonprofits, organizations. And I'll tell you, COVID has decimated nonprofits, money overall giving for charity. And I, of course, raise money, have a lot going on, seeking corporate sponsorships. But I don't, I hate, well, hate's a strong word. I really shouldn't use that word. I don't like when people are on Facebook, like begging all day for money. I just think it's not the right way to go about it, kind of thing. And so of course I talk about it. I did have people go, directed to linswarriors.org to donate, but I don't do a couple of these organizations, and I'm not exaggerating, since it started probably Monday. Well, actually things started last week, and I talked about it too, but not to this extent. It started last week, and then it was nonstop through the weekend, emails, text messages from different organizations, or we're going to match the goal, or we only need another 10,000. And I'm not putting it down. I'm just saying that, and I'm signed up for everything or partnered with everybody, but one after the other, they came in all night long, begging for money and begging for money. And I get it. But then I look at our government. Now, I actually received an email today from the White House signed by Joe Biden that said, "Dear Ms. Shaw, in response to your letter," I don't recall ever sending the Biden administration a letter. Maybe I'm part of an action in Washington, which the Warriors signs on to, and they utilized my, the response went out to every organization. That's the only thing I can think of, because I didn't write anything to the White House, but it didn't refer back to anything. It was all about this infrastructure deal and the money. All I know is there is not monies designated or enough for human trafficking, for sex trafficking, for labor trafficking, for education, for programs, for safe spaces, for safe houses. That's all I know in the United States. And I touch upon global with the trafficking. I'm very concerned, and my focus is here, our own backyards, United States, our own kids, our own communities. All I can keep telling you is that's why you have to be a warrior. You have to take things into your own hands and know what I'm talking about. I wish I didn't have to tell you any of this, but I want to tell you because somebody's got to tell you, because the mainstream media is not telling you, the government's not telling you, the schools aren't telling you. Most people I talk to, they don't know any of these things, or they just, because it doesn't affect them, they don't want to hear about it. I don't blame them. Dark, ugly. But you know what? if something happens to your child and sextortion happens, and that is where your child may send a picture to somebody online, and then the next time, once that person receives that picture, they up it and direct them to send a more graphic picture, and the child or teen, we know probably there are different studies, like 25% of the kids are doing this with strangers. No, I take that back. I'm thinking back. There's a recent study where 40% of children online, the ages were 9 to 17, 40% of the children online respond to a stranger. Now, can you imagine that? 40%. What's a stranger doing talking to a kid? Yes, a lot of them pretend to be another child or teen, and they gain their trust, they become their friend. It might not happen right away, but you've seen those things where, for instance, a woman, a cop, she's posing, trying to catch the predator. She's posing as a 13-year-old. I'm using this as an example, warriors. And within minutes of putting up her profile or her picture, all these men or women, a lot of women are complicit here. Think of Ghislaine Maxwell, bringing in the girls, acting as their big sister, acting as a mother figure, vulnerable girls who broken homes or just didn't have any money, and thinking answering a phone for $200 sounds pretty good. And then it escalates to, do this, do that. Or a lot of the girls, another common thing, Ghislaine will direct them, okay, bring some of your friends around. So we have a lot of that going on. The girls do all of the dirty work, so to speak. But warriors, there's just so much to talk about. I do want to say, though, that big shout out to District Attorney Melinda Katz for the creation of a Human Trafficking Bureau, which happened last year, 2020, dedicated exclusively to combating human trafficking in Queens County, which is part of New York City. And she appointed career prosecutor Jessica Melton to be the chief. And also, human trafficking only came into the light 21 years ago. It was never considered, it was never talked about. It was never considered a crime. It only became a crime 21 years ago. And Jessica Melton, ADA, Assistant District Attorney Melton, has focused. She is a wonderful young woman, has focused her career on, she's a warrior, on prosecuting for human trafficking and related crimes. Because you have to remember, with the trafficking, that a lot of these pimps, these traffickers, they get the girls and the women to commit other crimes, whether it be robbery or a lot of drug or getting other people involved, so their hands aren't dirty. So the girls' hands are dirty. And some of the initiatives in the new year, we have teens right now that have been trafficked, say at the age of 15. Actually, we have a case right now, and we have to get busy on getting her out of jail. So let me digress. Her name is Crystal Kizer, Kizer. Look up the case. Kenosha, Wisconsin. She's been in jail for 2 years since she's been 15, 17 now. Trafficked. And one night her trafficker raped her and filmed it. You know what? There was a gun next to the bed on the night table. After a couple of years of this abuse and being trafficked, she shot and killed him. And they arrested her age 15 and put her in jail. So I say we cannot have children in jail. That's number one. Did you know on any given night, 2,000 children in the United States are in adult prisons? Think about that. The only restorative justice, and I'll get to that now, perhaps in a minute, I want to see children and teens be given better opportunities to restore themselves for the most part. They do not belong, getting arrested at 15. Crystal Kizer. So she killed her abuser. This is almost like self-defense. Why is she sitting in jail? Kyle Rittenhouse, self-defense. Crystal Kaiser, self-defense. So we have to get busy on that. She's been in jail for 2 years. It's ridiculous. 17 years old. Man raped her and filmed it so he could share it online, which is human trafficking. Got to get her out of jail. And there are a lot of Crystal Kaisers. So follow my Twitter at Lynn's Warriors and my Facebook, as I'll be posting more starting tomorrow with that. And also the Becca Stevens with the book Practically Divine. That interview will go up tomorrow as well. I have to edit it, just the beginning and the end. So everything sounds nice. But I want to then just remind you again, I wish the focus during the whole Ghislaine, I feel like we've been in this Epstein-Ghislaine vortex, and that's all everybody talks about forever. And I don't know. I'm slightly, I kind of like ignore her because she's so disgusting to me. And I am tired of our media calling her a British socialite. They all just keep repeating British socialite, British socialite. She's anything but. She's an abuser, a trafficker, a predator, or at least all evidence suggests that, accomplice to Jeffrey Epstein. But I want to know about all the other people. Why is she actually the only one arrested in jail or somewhere? Well, we know all these what are called famous people were on those planes, were in that house. And the other thing is, Jeffrey Epstein here in New York always threw a lot of lavish parties, dinner parties. So because he was perceived as being, this man about town and one of the biggest mansions here in Manhattan, with a lot of money, and you know how money talks, everybody would show up for his dinner parties, from actors to media people to all. And not that anything bad was even going on at these dinner parties, but it would be, 12, 15 people at a dinner party. I know Katie Couric was at one. They were all at these things, okay? But all of this Epstein Island, I don't know. We never talk about what happened in Paris. There's a lot with younger girls in Paris. We did have some testimony yesterday from she was 14 at the time, explaining things on the stand. But I wish the focus could be put on, again, all victims and survivors and those who want to speak. The media would give attention to, because this is, enough with the British socialite. I'm curious if she takes the stand. She has no defense. What is she going to say? These girls are lying. She's a victim of Jeffrey Epstein. I'm surprised she didn't pull that one yet, that she herself was human trafficked or something. But I think she's a very obstinate. I don't know her. I don't know her attorneys. I'm sticking to these girls are lying, and these girls, I just deny. And we know a lot of people, they just stick to that deny, and they're on to the next thing. But we'll see, because this is federal. So we're gonna hope that something good, 5.5 more weeks or 5 weeks and 2 days comes out of this. And there are, of course, all those lawsuits. So when you have all these lawsuits going on with a case, it also, for me, I tend to think, we're not getting a lot of the true story, because a lot of people are involved in lawsuits. We'll see. So that's sort of a little update on what's been going on. We're into the holiday season. I want everybody to remain as positive as one can be, because remember, the kids pick up on all of our feelings or expressions, even if we think they don't. These kids are savvy, they're smart, they replicate us. You might not think so. They do. They hear and see everything. Again, you might not think so. So we want to try to, reassure them that everything will be okay, and communicate. And next week on my radio program, again, you can find that on Lynn's Warriors SoundCloud channel, the website, Lynn's Warriors, when I put the shows up, iTunes, Google Play, you have no excuse. Of course, live every Wednesday, 3 to 4 p.m. Eastern Time. Also, WVOX.com, the radio station across the universe. And the WVOX app. You really have no excuse to hear about all of these issues. And take your time. You might want to tune in for 10 minutes and listen to the rest later. So I want to remind everybody, we have more human slavery going on. I should say slavery. We have more slavery going on in the United States than in any other time in history. Now think about that, warriors. It's called human trafficking. I was amazed to learn at my meeting on Monday the amount of forced servitude in the state of New York. We know about labor. I don't talk about it a lot because I should, but I'm so focused on protecting the kids and trying to just get the information, the basics to you. There's tremendous amounts of forced labor. We have so much to tackle in the new year, but our guest next week on the Warriors will be our good friend, Chris McKenna. And I adore Chris. He started the company Protect Young Eyes, a dad, 4 kids. And when he had his children, they started using all these gadgets and tablets and phones. And he's like, how do I working? He had worked for some tech companies. That was his background. So he knew more than like we knew, because I didn't know any of these things a couple of years ago. How do I protect the kids online? I can't be with my 4 kids. I'm out working. My wife can't be. He started a company. Now that's a warrior, called Protect Young Eyes. ProtectYoungEyes.com is the website. And he has safety filters. He's got a great newsletter you should sign up for. He's got little nugget videos you can watch with your children and teens, 2-3 minutes. And then you can just, take one of them, watch it, and talk about it. That's a warrior action. You've done your job. Just keep talking to the kids, because I guarantee you, talking about it doesn't make it more, or doesn't make, talking about these nude images on a Twitter account or Instagram, TikTok. And let me remind you, every platform that children are on, so are the predators. And every platform is complicit. There's not one, from Messenger to TikTok to Instagram to Twitter, Facebook. Everyone I know, there's so many of them. There is sexual content being directed at our children at every platform. That I do guarantee you. So Chris starts his company, and he was explaining one day how you have a router in your home, you can split it, and you could turn off your teenagers' router. You can have phones that have no internet, just text messaging and phone. What's the proper age a child gets a phone? That's up to the parent. But certainly a lot of 5, 6, 7, 8-year-olds I know have their own telephones. Wrong, wrong, wrong. Recent story of a 7-year-old girl was talking to 40 men had contacted her. 40. She was on Tinder. Now, don't ask me how a 7-year-old is on Tinder, and the mother one day discovered it. I think she was a little asleep at the wheel, not blaming, but let's speak truth here. A, why was she so young with a phone? How did 40 men, how are they communicating with this child? And the bottom line was they protected her, but she was just about to do something that would be sextortion. And then when I tried to see any kind of press on all of this, there was a very short article. 7-year-old has phone. Now, my first question, of course, was, why does a 7-year-old have a phone? It was like a 1-paragraph story. It wasn't even covered. It should have been a story that was replicated, people talked about. It was in the mainstream media, like, parents, be careful with the phones. Parents, look at the phones. Watch what your child is doing on the phone. I was never with, especially for older kids, teens, monitoring. I don't like the word monitoring. You know what, warriors? We need to monitor, because I'm telling you how these predators, they're right there waiting to grab your kids. Drastic? Yes, but it's all true. Warriors, I have to tell you about all of this because you're not getting the information. And if I protect or I help, one of you, I have done my job. And the holidays are here. So we have a lot of parents and grandparents buying phones and gaming consoles and tablets because that's what the teens want. We have studies that show that's what they ask for. And the younger kids, 9, 10, they all want that too. So then if you're going to do that, you're going to have to know how to put a safety filter. You're going to have to know how to enact. A lot of these devices have safety things on them. Stop telling me they're too difficult, the instructions, therefore you don't do it. YouTube it, ask somebody, write to me, Lynn at Lynn's Warriors, step by step, write to Chris McKenna, who's coming on the Warriors next week. protectyoungeyes.com is the website. He'll walk you through. He's got all this on his anyway, this is free information for the taking. You're going to want to hear. I want him coming on the program next week because everybody's buying these gifts. So if you're going to buy them, that's fine. Education, Warriors, education. So Chris will be on with us explaining all of this. And the other company I do like, speaking about monitoring, and I tell you about all the time because it's such an excellent company, is called Bark, like the dog, BARK. The website is bark.us. They monitor over 30 apps. Very easy. It's all connected. Your child's phone to your phone, you will be alerted if something inappropriate. And the best way for you to understand all of this and how Bark works is go to bark.us, the website, and try their 7-day free trial. No strings attached. You don't want it, you get rid of it after 7 days. But I would try it for 7 days. If I had children, teens, now excuse me while I take a sip of coffee out of my Lynn's Warriors mug. Which reminds me, cafepress.com, Lynn's Warriors, lots of holiday goodies. The holiday shop is open, ornaments, pajamas, all kinds of little cups, coasters, but really for the kids, a lot of pajamas, note cards, all kinds of stuff. Please support cafepress.com, Lynn's Warriors. All of the proceeds are given to survivors of human trafficking to help them live their life, to go to CVS, to buy food, to pay the electric bill, to put gas in their cars if they have a car, or just for them to have transportation. I like to put a lot of women and girls in Ubers. I don't want people taking mass transportation underground in a lot of cities. It's just not safe enough. I hate to be like that. That's the truth. So I think we covered a couple of things I wanted to update you about. I'm going to finish up Warriors. I need help with this one, please. The Warriors is proud to work alongside the Parents Television and Media Council out of Hollywood. Our good friend Tim Winter is the president of the parentstv.org. That is the website, Parents Television and Media Council. And Tim and his team do all of the work for us. They monitor the programming to let us know what's going on. Now, so much is going on and nobody's talking about it. There is such a push for this normalization of the sexualization, and I talk about that with you a lot. But I need you to help me with the call to action. Go to parentstv.org. AT&T, the big conglomerate, usually you think of telephones, right? AT&T, we got to stop thinking about that like that, because everything in this new environment is conglomeration, is merging, is eating up little companies. AT&T is becoming has become a massive everything. And soon we'll be eaten up, A&T, by Discovery. I'm trying to break this down and be very simple about it. Discovery has just exploded. I remember when that started as a little cable something. Now it's just buying and owning everything. Okay, so AT&T bought up Warner Media, and Warner Media had HBO Max, DirecTV. Okay. Now, the DirecTV proudly advertises some of its stuff. As you know, we have porn programming. We This is child damaging, the porn. And warriors, there are various studies about the effects of today's porn on children's little developing brains and bodies and teens. Find the studies, look them up. This is not, porn, people having sex. This is violent, graphic, degrading, horrifying, sometimes with children in it. Remember, warriors, anything with minors is supposed to be against the law. But anyway, DirecTV has a lot of pornographic, they're pumping out like child-themed pornography, and the kids have easy access to it. It's twofold. It's kids see this, which is dangerous again for their minds developing, but also thinking that's the way kids need to act in this very sexual manner, or that's normal to do these things. And then the adults look at children as, they're sexual. So we need help, and we need to blow the whistle. We have AT&T has a fairly new CEO, John Stankey, Stankey. If you go to parentstv.org, look for AT&T Take Action. Please, warriors, I'm urging all of you. Read it, see if you agree with it. And we want him to address this, calling them out, that pornography involving child-aged, kids or child-aged characters. Now remember, this isn't just TV. All of this is now, we've become streaming, okay? So that's the phones and the tablets, the everything. We want to call them out that this is a really dirty, dishonest game behind the scenes that AT&T is pulling. Remember, these people make millions and companies make billions on the backs of our children and our families. I am urging all of you, be a warrior, go to parentstv.org, look for the AT&T Take Action. Please, it's done for you. You simply add your name to it and hit send back. Numbers count, because we can't believe Tim Winter, who is the president of Parents Television and Media, his career has spanned MGM, NBC, the tech world over the years. He can't believe what he's seeing. I started out in the music business. I am no prude to anything. I've seen it all, and in its heyday, I will remind all of you, I can't believe what's going on here. All you have to do is look at the Grammy Awards and see those performances, or the Super Bowl halftime show. And this is not being a prude and all that. This is a direct infiltration for our children's minds, and that these things are normal. And what a slap to young women and girls. For instance, the Grammy Awards, the Cardi B performance, where they're throwing money on a bed and simulating acts, and girls think, oh, this is how I make money, and this is how. It's degrading, and we don't want our girls and young women or boys seeing that and thinking this is the way you treat girls and young women. This is why we have to be warriors, take things into our own hands. So I'm asking all of you, that's parentstv.org. A reminder also that you're going to try to have a stress-free holiday. There's lots of good things to do this time of year that you wouldn't do any other time of year, which means you put your pajamas on, you watch a stupid movie, you drink the hot chocolate, you bake the cookies, and it feels good, because it has been a ride, warriors, and I think all of you know that. So I want to finish up with thanking all of you for your tremendous support. We have a lot of good things to look forward to in the new year. I am honored, I am humbled that you're along with me for the ride. Please, any questions, write to me at lynn@lynswarriors.org. Follow all, well, you'll find everything on the website, lynswarriors.org, and try to do one thing a day. And that one thing can be a retweet, share a Facebook story. Please, missingkids.org, where are all the children? We don't have enough emphasis. We should be screaming in the streets in front of the White House, demanding, where are our children? And go to missingkids.org. It's heartbreaking. Find a picture of a child. There's so many of them. Share it. Have you seen this child? That's it. We have had cases where a child, because of Facebook or Twitter, has been found. And we need to find all these kids, talk about it more. That's a take action. Remember, a smile, believe it or not, is a take action. It's nice that somebody smiles at you, holds a door for you. And I don't mean to preach warriors, but there's no civility. There are no manners. I'm in New York. I'm a New Yorker. Why should I be chased out of my home? This is where I live. This is where I do business. People write, why do you live there? Because I've lived here my whole life. Why should I leave? Treat each other with respect and dignity and our precious children. And with that, warriors, I'm going to say good night.